Hey everyone, welcome to the United Happy Hour podcast. This is Ashish or Ash. Today we're doing a little bit different. I wanted to use this platform to talk about some of the things that I like to do. For instance, running. It is one of the passion that I have. So I just wanted to introduce myself and then talk about my running journey and how I got into running, and then the running course certification that I did, and what I learned, and stuff like that. So that's what I want to cover as part of the running part. And also, I'll talk about the football, the American football. I'll try to get my cousin involved. He has a good knowledge about it. We probably mostly talk about the Packers and now the soccer, just for the American people. But for rest of us, it's football. Although I'm an American, I actually like to call it football and not the soccer. So, but of course, yeah, we'll talk about the Manchester United and everything will be on the same podcast as well. So, before that, I just wanted to give you an introduction. I know I've talked with a lot of people in Instagram. Like we talked on DM, but a lot of people don't know about me except for my friends in Florida whom I ran with. They probably know a little bit about my personal life, but out of that, I've not really talked a lot about it. But here it is. Most of you know me by my Instagram handle as Journey to Fitness, where I usually post about my runs. But that's not have been for a while because I've been sick in and out since the Berlin Marathon and trying to recover from it, and which I'm doing at this moment. So, just introducing myself, I'm Ashish Pan, and I go by Ash, as all of you know. I was born and raised in Nepal, and then I became a US citizen, and I lived in the US for 12 to 13 years. I moved to Berlin in the summer of 2023, and also I am a UESCA certified running coach. Before running, I really hated it. I played a lot of sports, and I used to play a lot of ultimate frisbee, and it's not throwing and catching frisbee at the beach or at the park, but it's a very competitive sports. If you don't know what ultimate frisbee is, then you should probably watch it on YouTube. Then you probably get a lot of highlights about it. But generally, it's a game you play in a football field with 7 versus 7, either on offense or defense, and you have to sprint a lot. Either defend the throw or make a run to catch it. So it's same as American football actually, but with 7 people. It's a non-contact sport, so you're not supposed to touch. And also, I'm very competitive. So, and that was the reason I hurt myself in 2017 when I was in Florida. And it was bad because I finished the game, but when I got back into the car, I couldn't check my blind side while I was driving when I had to get home. So it was really stressful, the drive, because I couldn't even see, check the mirrors or anything. But somehow I got home and then slept the night in pain. Next day I went to the ER and found out that I have tore my shoulder tendon, and that limited me from playing frisbee. And I have not played frisbee since then because I found running to be much more fun. And to be honest, before started running, I really hated it, and it wasn't what I was looking forward to it because I never ran outside when I was sprinting in the field. So the thought of running it and then the thought of like enjoying it was really out of the question because I never thought that was possible. But once I got to it, and then I got into different running groups, and it became like an addiction after that because for the first 3 months I got into running. I was killing it. I was running over 100 miles, like 160 kilometers. Before that, I used to play ultimate frisbee, and I would probably run per each game around 10K, but it involved a lot of walking. When I got into running, I was in good shape, but I didn't have the conditioning for the legs, which was built for the longer running, longer duration. So I did a lot of stupid things which I would probably not do right now, like running 4 half marathons in 4 weekends. And that was the reason I got my first injury, the ITB, when I was doing a race in Florida. That was the first ever half marathon, and then I got injured while doing it when I tried to sprint downhill. Big mistake, Small steps while you are running down. So this a tip for anybody who has this idea of running downhill: smaller steps, faster. So that's how you go downhill. So talking about my running journey, it's been on and off because I had a lot of personal challenges in life. So I had to get over it. I have been trying to navigate all the terrains that has life have been throwing at me. So now, since 2020, I've been getting back into running more again. So I finished three marathon since 2022 Berlin Marathon. So that was my first marathon. But then I've been gradually getting more running in, more training. I do my own plans based on what I want to achieve. So my first marathon was Berlin Marathon, of course, and that was not planned because I was here just to visit. That was the year I moved in actually. So brother was running it, so I was like, okay, let's do it. I'm gonna run it as well. And then I had 5 weeks, not 5 hours, 5 weeks to prepare, which was the worst thing I could have ever done because my leg couldn't handle the distance, and I was not physically that ready to run the marathon. And then I ultimately got injured while doing it. But I finished it just over 5 hours, 5 hours and 5 minutes on my first marathon. And then I started training more for my second marathon. That was at Freiburg. I went to this marathon because I couldn't go to the Manchester marathon because my blue card didn't arrive in time. I was like, okay, let's pick some flat marathon. And then I picked Freiburg, and it's near the border of Switzerland and very hilly. And it like another big mistake. I booked it on assumption that it was going to be the flattest thing, but it was bad. I finished it 4 hours and 40 minutes, but second lap was really bad because in Berlin, whenever I did a run, it was like 85 meters something, but the Freiburg marathon was around 300 meters, so it was really awful for my legs. And then I ran the third marathon in the Berlin Marathon last year, 4 hours and 35 minutes. But this was by worse the toughest time I had, not because I wasn't prepared, because I got sick before the marathon and then I got injured right before the marathon on my quads. I taped it nicely, but then I just couldn't run it. And then there was knots forming on my calves, which made it worse. I've never experienced so much pain in my life. Well, the knots rolled from bottom of my leg to the top of my leg, so it was really painful. And I finished it in 4 hours and 35 minutes. Right now, I was supposed to be training for the Manchester Marathon in April, but I have not really recovered from this sickness that much, and I have not run a lot, so probably gonna withdraw that one. That was just about me and all the running thing that I've been doing. I think the last year was the strongest I've ever felt. I was really feeling good, and I really hoping that I would do a sub four in the Berlin Marathon, but then the sickness was bad. That just drained everything out of me, and then the cramps, and then the rolling of the muscle didn't help at all. Why running? Like I said, I really hated running prior to getting more out of it. I like playing frisbee, ultimate frisbee. So, and I was really competitive, so I was okay sprinting on that, and it really boosted me. And like beating people and then sprinting faster than your opponent was like one of my main things. Getting into sports, and I'm very competitive. So I really enjoyed that side of me. And then when I got into running, it itself provide different challenges. When you start, then you run into 5K, then you run into 10K, then 15K, then half marathon, and then full marathon. So the journey itself is challenging because you push your body to the limit, and then you do think that you always thought was not possible. I used to be very fat, like 217 pounds. So running a marathon was never in my card, and I would never ever thought that I could ever do it. But along the journey, it's like you are proving the doubts on, like whenever people say you cannot do it, and the self doubt, and then like you are fat and everything like that, when you're looking at yourself being overweight, um, and things like that. So I was just checking if I can use the word fat or not because that's what I was, like 217 pounds. I always thought I was fat, and I'm relatively lean right now, 170 pounds, 70, not 17, 70. So I've lost 50 pounds. The leanest I've been is around 150 pounds. That's around 72 kilogram. But right now I'm around 74, 75 kilograms. So I still consider myself fat because of the tummy. But anyways, yeah. So I was really big. So I always doubt myself that this is something that I can never do it. But when I got into running, then the life is all about challenging yourself and putting up the goals that you would never thought you would do. So, and this is what running gave me. It gave me a goal, it gave me a purpose, and even my like life was not going on too well. I have a lot of challenges in my life, so this kind of helped me focus, just trying to get over my life good, like work on my mental health, and all those sort of things. So, and the more I did it, the more it felt nice, and the more you run, the more easier it gets. And I know it's easier to quit because running is not fun actually, because everything hurts when you're running. If you're beginning as a runner, then we all have experienced these issues where the calf hurts, the quad hurts after running, the hips, the glutes, and everything is hurting. So, but once you are seasoned, the more you run, then the better and easier it gets. So that's what I felt. The more I ran, the more confident I was. It was much easier for me to run longer distance. I tend to run solo because just like to be with my thoughts by myself, and just in the nature, in the road. And we have a trail here in Berlin near where I live, and it's really beautiful. So I can just go there, be myself, and then the just enjoy every bit of it. I also have a few friends that I run with, Kevin, and Fernanda, that I usually go running with, and now Caro. We've been trying to run, and I like enjoy running in a group as well, because it's we have had so much fun running. So running is like a lifesaver for me, because it has helped me go through life when everything was down. I was down, so it has really given me a purpose on expressing myself and not giving up, and believing that anything is possible. So yeah, that is why I like to run. So maybe I'll do a marathon in the middle, in the summer somewhere, once I get more fitness back. Right now I can probably run 10 kilometers, maybe 15, but it's a stretch, because I haven't built into this and I started hitting the gym. So I'm slowly getting back into the rhythm, and I'm enjoying the running again. But like the early phases are really difficult. Once you stop for 4 months, it's been 4 months, I haven't been running a lot. So now I have to gradually get back in so I don't overuse muscles. So, what will be the podcast about? I wanted to talk about the running and all the things that I learned during the certification. So, I'll be talking about that. I also have a lot of friends in Instagram, a lot of nutritionists, and all the running coaches, and the people who do ultra marathons, bigger one, who do triathlon. So I want to bring more people and talk about running. So basically, we'll just talk about running, our running journey, and what makes us motivated to run and stuff like that. So it's about the running community. So I just want to share my love for running, and this is what I'll be doing with this podcast. I know it's used for other stuff as well, but I'll try to use this for running, football, and then soccer. So, and I'll be reaching out with some of the people, so we can just share more of the passion that we have for running. So right now, I just have one race on my calendar, and that's the Berlin Marathon. That's in September. Since I've not been match fit enough, I do have a marathon in April, the Manchester Marathon, and I think I have to defer for the next year. So I'll try. I'll do that and try to see if I can compete again next year. But apart from that, it's been really struggle getting to full fitness. The sickness is really bad, the cold, and then the winter is really tough here in Berlin. And I lived in Phoenix before, so there was always sun. So last year, that's why probably it was easier for me to go through the winter because of all the vitamin D that I have in Arizona. But since living here for a year, then maybe I didn't have enough vitamins, zincs, and all those kind of things. So that's how I was getting sick regularly. And I think, and also it was kind of a bacterial infection that I had, so which was not going, and then it kept recurring back for like few months. So, all right. So I think this is it for today. Um, Thank you for listening, and then I will reach out to some of you and then try to see if we can get somebody on board and try to talk about running again. And see you guys next time. Once again, thank you for listening to the podcast.